It's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my clock, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hola. Yeah.
And good morning, Internet. Welcome back to the show that never ends. And not just me, trading. And that's what it is, my friends. The greatest show on earth. You thought it was Ringling Brothers, but it's day trading around earnings reports and stocks that are in the news. Because that's the trade that continues to work, and that's the trade that I believe and I hope that you continue to take. So you could transcend all time and space and be on the right side of every trade that you do for the rest of your trading days. And today was another special kind of day. We stayed focused on a couple of oddball names. You're looking at one of them, AVAV. I haven't traded this stock, too much. Only learned of its existence a couple of, 6 months ago. Monstrous move, lots of activity. But today it's all about earnings, AVAV, Oracle. And if you know about the Nike trade, possibly my favorite trade of the week right now. And some of our old-time favorites are moving today. NVTS, phenomenal move, which they also have a leveraged version of NVTX. So very choppy on the Qs today. Not really doing too much there. Staying away from the Qs the last couple of days. Most of the money has been, made on these earnings plays. But we are definitely in the market that refuses to go down. Hopefully you guys are understanding the concept there. As much as we've been in a sideways market, we really haven't gone down. November lows were flirted with on Sunday. My crash prediction for March 20th may have just happened. That could have been it. We were only 15 points away from where I was thinking we were going to go. I'm not completely not bearish. I'm still leaning 70% bearish, but I'd rather stay focused on what works than guesses. So let's talk about it. But before we talk about it, let's have a musical interlude. You're listening to Brooklyn College Radio, WBCR. Yes, you and 4 other people. WBCR, Brooklyn College Radio. That was an exact replica of a cart. If you guys know anything about the radio industry, we used to record what was called carts and little promos, and you would stick them in the cart machine. It was kind of like an 8-track machine, and it would play it and then loop it back so you can play it again on the press of a button. Brooklyn College Radio, the mighty 590. You didn't know about that station, did you? 590 AM. If you walked 2 blocks from the school, you couldn't hear it. We had a budget of like $8. But me and DJ Smike, we used to act like we were broadcasting to 20 million people. It was a lot of fun. So let's talk about this Nike trade, right? And, again, obviously this market's a little bit choppy right now. We just got blown out of this AVAV long. I'll talk about that in a second. I was a little disappointed, but we made something on it. I was hoping for 215. But let's talk about the Nike and the jaded, cynical nature that makes me a good trader right now. I trust nobody. If you guys heard my life story, I was born into the worst part of Wall Street, the boiler rooms, the Wolf of Wall Street, the Boiler Room, all those movies, dead on, completely accurate. Scams, awful, just awfulness. And since then, before I became a trader, I was a market maker for a small firm. And I would just sit there learning about market making and how, orders were taken and representing blah, 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 market making, right? So once we had access to the market makers, the level twos, these are called, right? Market maker box, level two, or the box. The box. And I was having this conversation with you, and I've had this conversation with you a number of times. And I'll be brief because I think I want to put a trade on here. I don't know if anybody's still short Oracle or Nike. And now the market's rolling over again. Very choppy day. But let me get through this thought. So when I started becoming a market maker, and then we could finally look at the people that were buying and selling the stock, oh my God, see, I try to have a conversation. Next thing you know, you got to be shorting something. If anybody is still short Oracle, let me just put this one up there. This is one of our only live trades we still have on. And I'll get to the Nike story while I'm showing you the Oracle trade, right? So reconfirmed as a short, rolling over, breaking down. We're just looking for a little bit more to the downside at 163.10. And now the pivot points are the stops if anybody's a short. That's the 165.60, the 166.70, and of course the 167.50. So let's talk about Nike. So now, why was I telling you this story about being me jaded and cynical? Long story short, BlackBerry Research in Motion there's a buy recommendation, Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley's telling us the Research in Motion was a $20 stock, and he puts a $50 price target on, almost 100% higher from where the stock was that day. Morgan Stanley telling us that he loves BlackBerry, can't get enough of it. $50 target. So Morgan Stanley's telling the world to buy the stock. Where do you think Morgan Stanley should be all day on the box? Should he be buying it after he told us that the stock's going from 20 to 50, or should he be selling it? Well, the answer is he should be on the bid, buying it, because he just told the world to buy it. So I'm assuming he's buying it for himself. But no. One of the things I noticed, and I was asking my mentor, Isaac, why is Morgan Stanley on the offer all day? And my mentor said, because he's selling into the bullshit strength that he created. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, they're taking advantage of the gap. And they're selling into the move because they're a bunch of corrupt scum. I'm like, well, that's good to know. And I'm like, well, would they put a buy recommendation on a stock when they know it's going to go down? And then he laughed, and I laughed. We both laughed. And that trade has still worked 30 years later. So when you see a stock being upgraded, do you think for a second this analyst cares about you? You think he's putting it out there because he wants to make his bones on a Nike upgrade? Nobody even cares once the market's open whether this guy upgraded the stock or downgraded the stock, but he cares because he was paid to do it. So when you walk in and you see Nike gapped up, you remember this story. You remember the story of the BlackBerry Morgan Stanley. And you remember the story that analysts are not here to help you. They got a hedge fund guy, right, that they're trying to help. And that hedge fund guy wants to do what? He wants to dump Nike. He wants out. He knows the stock's going to $50, but he doesn't want to start dumping it and continue to crush the stock that's already been crushed. So he calls his friend, the analyst. Hey, man, you got somewhat of a decent reputation. Can you upgrade my stock so I could dump it? And do you understand why? So they upgrade the stock to cushion the blow of the onslaught of selling that's about to happen. Because that's the game. So now, if you don't believe that, which has been working now for 30 years, gapped up stocks on analyst calls are generally sells for the day. How about let VWAP confirm your jaded, cynical nature? How about a finger of God roll over new low break? How about a test from underneath on the VWAP to confirm it? How about a blue line to the orange line? Faux show, bro. Can't get anything going, which is where I got stopped out of most of it on the 56.75 return. But then another chance to short it again. And then another chance to short it again. And then rejected at prior day VWAP. And it's been a short all day, and now it's negative. So the next time you see an upgrade on a stock that you own, sell it. They're not trying to help you. Just like they were upgrading SRAD up in the 30s. And just like these people that downgrade stocks after they've crashed. They're just trying to get you to capitulate so they can buy it even cheaper. Or they're just inept. Like a few people that we've met in the industry downgrading Carvana at $10 and so forth and so on. The bottom line is nobody knows anything. It's a fugazi. It's a fugazi. It's a woozy, it's a wazi. Nobody knows shit. But the reason I'm saying Nike's my favorite trade of the day is that what I do know, and if you do know something, or let me just say it as my mentor, you should say, I'm glad you think you know that. You take what you think you know and let it be validated by wonderful price action. So now my jaded, cynical nature, once again, shorting a stock on an upgrade because the analysts are not here to help me. I'm waiting to see the truth to be revealed. And there it is, my friends. There it is as we crush the Nike on the short side. Thank you very much. My name's Kenny Glick. Join me in reality. It's a great place to visit, better place to live. So let's live in reality. So what's the realities of trading? We like to short stocks that are gapped up on earnings, but we don't short stocks that are gapped up on earnings that are doing this. Fake them out, shake them out, VWAP break. So the first trade on Oracle was actually a long trade. Fake them out, shake them out, VWAP break. Fake them out, shake them out, VWAP break. Holds VWAP, rips their heads off. And then reality sets in. All right, the longs had their moment. And again, this is why I'm saying this is the greatest trading environment ever, because the longs are getting their day and the shorts are getting their day. And then sometimes the shorts get their day and then the longs take back the afternoon. It's fan-freaking-tastic. And you're only just trading it around price action. So let's get rid of these red lines. So the better you get at this game, you'll be shorting it up here with Sid. Sid's like, you know what? I've been waiting to short it. He sees this little candle, little blow off top action where it breaks the prior low. Then it breaks the low. There's my boy Sid getting short preemptively. But then you get your VWAP jiggle and then the VWAP test from underneath confirming the short and you're getting paid. So let's say you missed that first lovely move and then look what happens here. It gets above the VWAP and then rolls back over and breaks those lows of those candles. That's another opportunity to get short with limited risk right here. And you get paid. Or maybe you missed that move. But let's say you were waiting for a reason to short Oracle because you missed it here and here and here. Look at the same exact trade. It's the same exact trade. Squeezes the shorts out. All it's doing is jiggling and shuffling and making a new decision. So you decide with it and get short this time. Test them underneath 167.50. Very, very tight stop because you got a double top right nearby at 168.50 and you got paid again and again and again. So let's talk about what happened with AVAV. My default is to buy gap down stocks on earnings reports, no matter what it is. I looked at this chart. I thought this thing could fall to 190 first. And it was a short first. I wasn't shorting it. And then you got an ass crack VWAP break on an earnings report. Missed it. All right, let's get rid of these lines. So I missed this trade. And then it came back and did me a favor. And I missed it again. And then it came back to VWAP and did me a favor. And I missed it again. And then it came back to VWAP and I missed it again. But you know what I did? Once it got to the orange line, by the way, once again, blue line to orange line, you're loving this trade. And then it rolled again. This time I bought the orange line break because you got yourself a 1 minute multi-day VWAP break. I'm required by law to give it a shot. I don't care what I've missed now. I got to give it a shot. Double top break through orange line. I'm in. But now I'm in late. I should have been buying here, 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 here. I finally buy it at the 209.75. So what am I doing at 212? Selling. And then here I'm looking for the 215, but I raise my stop to the orange line to ensure I don't lose on the trade. And look what the stop has done. It saved me from this rollover. And now we're out of this trade, but we're out here. Again, it's okay to be disappointed. Don't let it become a loss. Disappointed? Sure. I got in late. I made 2.5 points. And I was willing to sacrifice my other $250. Wound up getting stopped out at the 210 area. Whatever. Not a bad trade because I saved myself from losing money because I was in late. So now it's going to redo. It's going to retest. Now you're at these levels again, right? The original spot where this thing came from. If it doesn't hold, chances are you're going to go lower. But I'm looking at this now because we got paid on a long trade. I'm looking for maybe a little faux show bro action again on it. So I'll show you one more trade that we did. And this is how, again, just a little education. One scanner is all you need. By the way, this trade now turned out to be a freaking juggernaut. It's incredible. But before we go any further, did you hear what I just said? One scanner is all you need. All I do is I scan for volume and new highs, new lows. That's it. It's a very simple scan, and it works. And if you didn't know, all the scanners out there are scanning me because I am Scan Man. Don't tell your friends. But here's a trade that, again, it's not about the money on this trade. It's about how awesome we traded it. Got the foe, got the show. By the way, why are we looking at UEC? Because we traded it yesterday on earnings. Do we check stocks that reported earnings the day after we traded them? Of course we do. To see if there's any residual action. Fake them out, shake them out, VWAP break. Didn't buy it. Fake them out, shake them out, VWAP break. I didn't buy it. Fake them out, shake them out, didn't buy it. You know why? Because I wasn't paying attention. But then I saw it breaking new highs and possibly going green. So I'm in. I bought a 1446. What am I risking? I'm risking 13 whole cents, 20 cents tops. You see? You're not letting it go down here. If you're buying this break with an anticipation of it going through the orange line, you're buying here 45. You're using the new risk parameters, which is VWAP and the lower candlesticks. So buying 46, VWAP was 32, prior low candle was 26. That's all you're risking. And then we got paid. And we got paid some more. We held the jiggle because it didn't break the half. And then we were about to get paid some more. We put our stop at the half. It's okay to be disappointed. Just don't stay disappointed. And look what happened to the stock once we got stopped out. See, that is a monster trade because selling near highs, no one's selling the high because you're expecting it to go higher. But then it rolls and you say, oh, I guess I got to sell it. Bang, you're out. And look at this. Now you could do the trade again. But remember, take a second. When you sell anywhere near a high and the stock rolls over and dies, cherish this moment because usually it doesn't work like that. Usually what happens on Nike is what happens. You get stopped out and then the stock rolls over and dies without you. That's okay too, as long as you're getting out at prices where you should Not everything's going to be perfect, but trading around VWAP and price is as perfect to trading as you can be. And if you're anywhere near perfect in the world of trading, you're awesome. And no matter how good you are of a trader today, the QQQ is freaking awful. I mean, seriously, this thing's looked like a short 2 times, a long 2 times, and both times they've gone the opposite way. Very, very difficult, otherwise known as inside trading, right? We're inside some big stuff going on right here. So here's your 10-day. We're inside this range right now. We're trapped. But again, my bearishness, I think we're going to resolve to the downside. This is a 10-day VWAP. We've held it. 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 What do you think is going to happen when we don't hold it? We're going to go down. If you didn't know the answer to that question. And that's what I'm kind of waiting for. So I don't mind sitting through some chop. I'd rather short on the roll. But UVXY being down $1.50 is telling me maybe I should just keep my bearishness to myself today. Stick with my earnings plays, my Nike, my AVAV, my Oracle, little UEC trade. And if you guys don't know about some of my other faves, please put this one on your radar for now. NVTS, one of my favorite stocks to trade. It is gold. This thing trades for a $10 stock. You could swing it. You could not own it, but it's a pretty damn great stock to trade. It has weekly options, half-point options, things in play almost every other day. Plus, it's a great buy at $7.50. And you got the then you got the Alcoa. Look at this thing, the way it tacked on 7 points. What do I like to do to pass the time when you don't have any trade opportunities? Did you just meet me? I listen to music. I listen to music, and then I listen to music, and then I could watch the same movie. I could watch the same movie 1,000 times. But right now, I just got the Paramount channel because they were running a special, so I'm watching all my Star Treks. You guys like Star Trek? Star Trek, the Final Frontier, with this handsome guy playing Pike, and then you got young Kirk. Anyway, yeah. You have a confession to make. You hate the Grateful Dead. It's okay. It's not for everybody. It's an acquired taste, like key lime pie. Actually, all pie. Either you like pie or you don't. But there's a few songs you can't not like by the Grateful Dead. But that's okay. I feel you. Hey, listen, I don't like Bruce Springsteen too much when I say that to people. If you said you didn't like the Beatles, then we'd have a problem. People who don't like the Beatles frighten me. It's like people who don't drink. What? By the way, I know everybody's quitting drinking over 50 now. Everybody I know is quitting. I'm hanging in there. Twice a month ain't bad. Quitters. Anyway, now the market's rolling over. As I said, I don't want to be shorting the cues. This is hilarious. But we're in again, I can't say this enough. This is the greatest trading ever because you're getting opportunities where you can be long and short on the same name in the same day. That's wonderful trading. Wonderful. And listen, my favorite trade of the day obviously is the Nike short because it brought home 30 years of my jaded, cynical trading right there. Is nothing better, and it feels good. I like when a trade that I believe is going to happen works. And that's what I love about the way, one of the ways that I use VWAP predominantly is to confirm what I believe is going to happen. And that's another thing. I don't put the trade on anymore until I'm being validated or given permission, especially as a shorter in a market that really doesn't like to go down. A couple of any particular videos of content you recommend watching first to get the context of what? Just keep showing up. Watch the old videos because it's the same day every day. The names of the stocks change, but the ebb and flow nature of the way that we trade remains the same, and it transcends all market sentiment, time, space. Legitimately, this has been the same trade since 2012. I've really mastered it over the last 8 or 9 years, and now it is it's awesome. I mean, there's no other word for it than just it. And the reason it's so great, again, I screwed the Nike trade up sort of. I mean, I got in a little bit late, so I put a tight stop on. I knew what I was doing. I didn't want to get faux show broed. Anyway, I could have revisited the short twice. But the reason I love the way that we trade now is that it instills the discipline. It instills the patience. I mean, we were sitting with Rambus for 6 hours because it wasn't doing anything. It broke back under the VWAP, but it didn't break prior day. So I held it. And then next thing you know, 4 hours later, it finally spiked up. And that's the kind of discipline that most people don't have. You're in a trade, you'll get out of it because you're bored. You're like, all right, this is garbage. Let me get out of this thing. And then it makes the move. VWAP and price action trading, the way we do it, is it keeps you in the trade longer, especially when you add the don't get out of the entire position at one price mantra. That keeps you in the trade even longer because you're taking profit on something and you're able to hold the jiggles. Now, that didn't help me here on AVAV. I'm not going to let it go against me. I'm in late. I sold some. I'm thinking, here we go. And then it rolls. And that's it. Orange line's my discipline. Now it's back to the price where we originally wanted to buy it. And look how it's setting up now as a low risk long entry again. Right? The longs had their fun. Even the shorter just had some fun. So now you take every time you look at any trade, right? Think about what the other person's doing and what you're going to do and what they're going to do and then what you're going to do. Right? So the long traders just said, hey, I can buy the stock right here. They're in. What do you think they're doing? They're looking at this triple bottom now as they're out. And that's an easy defining trade right there. So the long trader who just nibbled, let's say they nibbled right here at 206. They, for shit sure, are selling this thing if it breaks 204. And then it's probably going to go back to this noise down here, which is 201.85. And that's what they're thinking. The shorter's thinking, oh, man, did I just overstay my welcome? I better cover. And if it breaks back over this level where it kind of like broke down from, I'm going to have to cover the rest. So the long trader's going, yeah, I hope that happens. The long trader's thinking, all right, I'm in. I hope the short guy keeps covering here. And then they're forced to cover back to the 207.50. And that's trading. Think about what the other person's doing, what they're going to do when they're right or wrong, what you're thinking, and what you're going to do if you're right or wrong. And then there's nothing left to analyze. Then you just sit and wait for someone to be right. Hopefully you, as the long buyer. Now, if it breaks over 206.50, you should be looking for the 207.50. And that's how trading happens. And it's easier to go back to the stock that you've already traded once or twice because you're generally in the ebb and flow, or you're in the nature of the stock, the posture, taking a word from our friend Solid. And, again, it's easier to trade when you've been in the names. And then there's also the concept of making a day's pay and going away, which is my favorite, especially now the sun's out again and it's not 13 degrees below zero. If you have goals, right, as a day trader, your goal is to become consistent, make money every day, or try to. Nobody does every day. I mean, you go on runs, and then you get in ruts too. Even if a trade, again, your brain gets in the way always. You'll do something wrong inevitably. But the more discipline you get, price action is the discipline for me. But when you make that day's pay, there's no shame in quitting while you're ahead, Frank. Quitting while you're ahead, Frank, is not like quitting. And if you haven't seen that movie, get up and go watch some Denzel. My man. And you see how this Oracle trade, right, has reestablished itself as a short, right? Just grinding down now. So now think about what the shorter is thinking. The shorter is thinking this thing's going to 160.27, right? The shorter is thinking this thing's about to go to the 162.50 pivot point. The shorter is also thinking, I hope it doesn't go back above the 165.50 or even above this level right here. So that's 165.15. That's 165.50. And then where it broke down from is 166.25. Right? Gun to your head, as they say, looks like this thing's about to roll over, but then you remind yourself that shorting is short-lived and something bad's going to happen. So you put your stops here and nothing bad could happen. And if you are still short Oracle, well done. Well done. Plus, if Oracle gives any more of this back, it's also an indictment on the health of the market. Just like the Palantir a month ago. Remember we said, hey, if this thing doesn't hold its bid, that's a sign that this market still can't really rally. It's not crashing, but, this trading range is fantastic. Speaking of trading ranges, I was telling this, I was talking to the folks in the chat room too. I've been mentioning something called a short strangle, and then I say, well, I might as well not talk about it because I'm not sure everybody could do it. It's been really good on this AGQ. So what a short strangle is, and if you know about AGQ, this is the leveraged silver trade. We were in this thing at 50. I remember selling it at 95, thinking we're the best. And then, obviously we had some good times with it on the way up. But really, it's been a nice short because silver went parabolic. This is a triple leverage version of SLV. It went from 50 to almost 500. So during that, you can imagine the options completely went insane. So as much as I love silver, I look at AGQ as a hedge against my bullion hoard. Right? So I've been going out 3 months and I've been collecting premium on AGQ. Now, again, the reason I don't talk about this too much is that not everybody can sell a naked call. So I sell naked calls and I sell naked puts. So basically I'm playing a range. And you want to see something crazy. You want to see something nuts. You want to see something absurd. Let me show you the spread that I'm in right now. And, on paper, I'm thinking this is guaranteed money. Obviously, it's not guaranteed because all kinds of crazy shit can happen. But I am in, let me just give you the right one. It's the September. I mean, if you could believe the spread on this one, it's just so nuts. Here they are. So September's, they have $915 calls. These didn't exist. I sold the 625s. Sorry, 655s for $50, 37, 27, and 22.50 the other day. So I'm betting that the AGQ will not be above 655 come September. It's not a bad bet. So far, so good. Except for these last couple that I sold at 22.50, we're getting through that now. But what I also do is I don't believe AGQ is going to zero. So I could go all the way down here, and this is crazy. And I sold, where are they? Wait, let me just check my account, but they're not even up. I might be looking at the wrong chain. Hold on. September, it's the September 26th. September 26th. No, September. Where are they? They're not even on here. I'm looking at the wrong chain. September is the next week's. Yeah. All right, I can't find. There's so many contracts. That's what's so crazy. Well, anyway, I could sum the story up, but I want to show it to you on the trade here. Wait, why did it just jump to Q's there for a second? September. There they are. Aha! Finally found them. Oh my God, so many contracts. Sorry, I'm probably boring you now, right? There they are. So I sold the 65 put 65s for they were $5 the other day. 65 650. Wait, 60. I'm in a 65 645 short strangle. Now, I know I probably lost you somewhere in the word strangle and AGQ, right? But let me put it in layman's terms. We're shorting a $65 put for $6, assuming that AGQ is not going back below $65. Right now, it's trading at 160, 155. We're also assuming that AGQ is not going to go above 645. So I'm selling premium on the 600s for $20 and more. I'm selling the $65 puts, which I really hope it doesn't go there, for $5 and $6. So all AGQ does now, all I needed to do is stay between 65 and 645 for the next 3 or 4 months, and I take in about 20 grand. I think I'm going to be right. But if you're not willing to expose yourself to a naked call, or for that matter, a naked put, then you can't do these kind of trades. That's why I don't talk about them too much. But man, the premium on AGQ is just so sick because it's a triple leverage product. And right now, if you short the Oracle, shabon. You're just looking for I can't imagine you're not about to flirt with the pivot point, which is the 162.50. You know, your stop remains these high watermarks right there. But so let me sum this up. Let me sum this up one more time, huh? These earnings plays have been working almost every time. Sometimes 3 or 4 times a day, sometimes 2 times on each side, like this Oracle. Oracle was a long twice, and then it became a short thrice. This is the third. A wave was, again, I wasn't looking to short it because it got crushed so much, but it was a decent short for a second there. A wave, 2 long trades. This QQQ, as annoying as it's been, if you're still navigating around VWAP, tough trading today because you got 3 reasons to be long, and then it turned into a short. So wonderful faux show, bro, this morning, breaking the 8:30 high economic data release. Still got a faux show near the open. Great long trade. Got to the 612.50. 612.50 once again. Algorithmic nature of this market still intact. 610 gets you 612.50. Next thing you know, you sell it off and give it all back. Faux show, bro. VWAP break into what looked like a new confirmation of a long, but you never broke this spot. And when we were talking about the collision of the 1 minute and the multi-day, look how important it got when you got rejected at both again, and then it gave way. But now, because of this nature of this market, it looks like it's a blatant short right now, right? I know. By the way, if you are short, you're required by law to cover some here at 605.50. So now let's get rid of all these other lines because now we're in a new realm, right? The market is breaking pre-market lows. And now all the shorters are going, oh, I told you, we're going to crash. You're right, Kenny. This market's going to zero. Now with UVXY down 65 cents right now. Hey, good point. See, this guy just brought up UVXY. That's the only thing that's telling me that the chop is still going to probably prevail. But more importantly, you see the green candle that's forming right now at the same level that something happened. So that's some short covering. But you don't have to get out of your entire position at one price because you never do. And the real stop is way up here where you broke down from. You're doing something here, and you're obviously noticing why you're doing something, because when stocks get to prices where something happened once before, especially when we're in a choppy market already, you have to expect that. Thank you very much for proving my point, Mr. Market. And that's why you do things where stocks have done something once before. And that's why you're drawing your own red lines to give you the roadmap of where things happen, and then VWAP keeps you on the right side of the trade. And then it's price, VWAP, and price action. Chart pattern recognition, price action, and VWAP, and you'll be on the right side of trades for the rest of your days, unless you choose not to be, which we all do because we're psychotic and delusional, and we have hope and faith that get in the way, but try not to be. I mean, that's the hard part of trading. Try not to be delusional. Try to accept what you're seeing is reality. Hope and faith are not investment strategies. I didn't even see them in Vegas this time. I didn't have time. But you know what I'm saying. And it's not a coincidence that you just got a 2-candle rip off the same price, because the market's rigged. And we trade it as if, once again, validating my point right here. And by the way, I still love the AGQ short strangle trade. And by the way, I didn't mean to ruin your I didn't mean to ruin your QQQ short trade. I'm just trying to warn you that you're not going to stay short on a day. These are just pullbacks, choppy pullbacks. UVXY is still red. You don't think aggressively short on days where UVXY is red. UVXY is breaking 51, 52. later today and the market's rolling over, it's a whole different story. So, right, doesn't that trade sound like it's too good to be true? All I need is the AGQ to stay between $65 and $645 for the next 191 days. It's too easy, right? Something will go freaking haywire. But that's also the cues. I have a 295, 820 short strangle. Think about it. It's a 500-point range. I just need the cues to stay between, well, actually, I have some 420 puts. But the closest to the put side, I'm selling 420s, and I got 780s and 800s and 820s. So basically, I need the cues to stay between 420 and 785 for basically the next 150, 200 days, and I'm going to collect a lot of premium. But I also ready to get out of either one of these trades if we start breaking down or if we start really truly breaking out. Because if we do break all-time highs, there's no way I'm staying short calls because we always rally so much more than I ever expect. But I don't have to make that decision today. What do I think about Netflix? I'm a fan because, again, dating myself, they're the Jordache jeans of streaming media. And you don't even know what the hell Jordache jeans is, right? Well, Jordache jeans were I think actually most people do, right? Remember the 80s? Everybody, it was either Jordache or, come on. Uh-oh, Sergio. Sergio Valente, come on. Where are my ladies in the house? You know your ass looked good in those Sergio Valentes. That's why you paid the big bucks. My parents were broke. We wore Mordash and Sergio. It was just Sergio. We couldn't afford the Valente part. Now, I wore Wranglers. I wore Wranglers from Alexander's because my mom thought I was a cowboy. What? They're the same. No, these are Wranglers, and all my friends are wearing Jordache jeans. I'm a loser. You'll make more money than when you're an adult. You won't even remember these days. Meanwhile, here I am still complaining about it with my fake Pumas and Adidas. We had a store near us that would sell fake clothes, but they looked almost like the same except for one missing letter. I had Adidas, not Adidas. They had 4 stripes. Yeah, Wranglers became cool. Tell that to a 4th grade Kenny who was getting picked on. None of the girls liked me. Oh, I was cool when Carhartt came around. Yeah. I loved that. Those were the best years. Jeans and sweatshirts became fashion. I was cool. Then again, I wasn't wearing Champion until my girlfriend at the time finally got me one. And I still have it. Yes, I still have my original gray Champion sweatshirt, the one that my girlfriend bought me at the time. With my Jabot jeans. Oh, now we're really talking. Remember Jabot? That was right at the same time as Z Cavarici. Yeah, Jabot. Nice blue. Got that specific color blue that they had. Nice. Yes, you know the jeans. By the way, how great is NVTS? My God. Speaking of Sergio Tacchini's, I went to see Andrew Dice Clay in Staten Island, and this woman walked by with her friend, and she was wearing this black velour Sergio Tacchini jumpsuit with white like trim. Thing was beautiful. But I think she thought I was mocking her. She's walking by. I'm like, hey, man, sick jumpsuit. She kind of smiles, and then she looks back at me like she wanted to stab me. Meanwhile, ladies from Staten Island, they don't fuck around. They're probably a gangster's wife or something. And then she looked back. I was like, no, I mean it. I wish I could rock a black and white Sergio Tacchini jumpsuit and go out in the streets like that. Without a cell phone that looked like an encyclopedia. With a big Christ head and a rope chain around my neck. Where's my Brooklyn people? That just describe what you looked like in the 80s. Were you my cousin? Kid used to wear a Christ head around his neck. It was like the sacred amulet from like. I was like, do you love Jesus that much? That thing looks like it's weighing you down. Oh, they love their Jesus. And they love their mothers. What the hell are we just talking about? I completely went off track. Something about, how do I bring this back to the market now? Oh, I don't know. What the hell were we just talking about? Get into Christ heads and Sergio Tacchini's. Yeah, I used to work at this great store called Caesar's Bay Bazaar. Oh, baby. Oh, Carhartt. That's how the conversation got started, right? Carhartt. I remember when Carhartts became popular. Oh man, we were selling. I had every color. Nice jeans, with a pair of brand new Timbos, and a Carhartt sweatshirt. We were rocking. Back in the day where you had to pick seeds and stems out of your weed. And what was the number one hit of 1987? Okay, take your guess. What was the number one hit of 1987 on the Billboard charts? I'm going to go ahead and say it's something I'm not thinking. 1987. 1987. Is Casey Kasem still alive? Oh, that's funny. I wouldn't have guessed that song, but wow. The number one single of 1987, Walk Like an Egyptian. I was going to think maybe some U2 because of... By the way, you want to feel old? May 9th, 1987, Joshua Tree came out. Oh, man. Oh, man. We're all old. I remember going to that concert like it was the other day. Jeez. 1987. All right, it's 12 o'clock. I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm sitting here just goofing around. So the guy was wanting to know. This is what I do when I don't have any trades on. I go back and check what the number one song was from 1987. And then I put this on. I'll be right back.
the howling wind comes a stinging rain. See each other nails into the souls of chill pain. From the firefly, the red orange glow. See the face of fear running scared in the valley below. In the locust wind comes wailing home. Jacob was an angel, and the angel was overcome. You had a demon see, you reached for the fire. See them burning crosses, see the flames higher and higher. Sweet's red like a rose and a thorn bush. I go like colors of a royal flush. And it's peeling off those dollar bills, slapping them down. 100, 200. And I can see those spider blades. And I can see those spider blades. Across the mud huts, chilling sleep. Through the alleys of quiet city street. We take the staircase to the first floor. We turn the key and slowly unlock the door. As the man breathes into his saxophone, and through the walls you hear the city groan. Outside is America. Outside is America.
This song was legitimately my favorite song at the time. Bullet the Blue Sky off the Joshua Tree album, which still is one of the best albums ever made, even though everybody hates U2 now. So that's what I do. You know what else I do? I go back to watch Star Trek. But we're, again, this market is on the precipice of a little bit more selling. But by 12 o'clock, I get to that mode where I just don't want to be chopped anymore. If it makes a bigger move without me, so be it. But right now, you're seeing the downtrend, right? Somebody was talking about when the 1 minute and the multi-day VWAP kind of collide, it put up a large form of resistance. And that now is the only two spots to cover if you are short. Because it looks like, again, it's pretty apparent. Lower high, lower high, lower high. We break down and then go back to the 10 days on the hourly. You'll see it a little bit better, how important this level is. We keep flirting with that the 10 day. But it really is that low point. That's where you got to be thinking we're going to go if we do break here, which is your classic, 2.5 to the downside. But if we break there, then you're inside the big candle from that last attempt to rally, and that gets you back to 602. And round we go. But look how monstrous this move is. This is the overnight lows. As a matter of fact, I thought we were lower. Oh, no, yeah, 10 p.m. That was the low. I thought we got to 582.50. Huh. Really? Hey, hang on a second. Oh, I could have sworn we were at 582.50. Anyway, that's your generational low for now. That's the Sunday night low. Look at the enormous rally from that spot. So yeah, just grab. We'll go back to the 10-day. Think about how much we could fall and not even flirt with that. If we dropped 6 points, you'd be like in terror right now, right? Oh my God, it's crazy. Meanwhile, less than 48 hours ago, we were falling off the face of the earth and we still came back. So we can live inside this big range for a while. Upper range, low point, midpoint right there. And we can live in here for quite some time. We break out, we go test the recent highs. We break there, we're probably off to the races to all-time highs. But I'm bearish. I think we inevitably break down, start flirting with this midpoint. And if it doesn't hold, maybe we do give way. I mean, the sellers are still out there. Even though it is pretty hard to stay short, they're out there. So more importantly, what do you do to occupy your time when you don't have any trades on? You're swinging BE now? I thought you were in DE. You just switched letters? Weren't you in DE earlier? That's weird. You went from DE to BE. DE, BE. Well, I would have been a seller just about 10 minutes ago. So also, let me just bring it on home. I'm going to go get some breakfast. What did he just say? Uh-oh. Bring it on home. Don't ask me twice. What album? Come on. What album? You should know. No, it's still on, except UVXY has crashed so hard that I think we might be stuck in this range. But under 600 again, we look for the 592.50, and then it's a whole different ball game. But we'll re-examine what's going on March 17th, which is really where, if you're going to position yourself, it'd be right around that time. Because we got 80% of that move. I was looking for 565. We got the 582, 3. But with all this intraday action, you don't need to make predictions too many days in advance. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm right, it'll be freaking epic. But we'll talk more about this on the 17th. But for now, bring it on home. Trying to tell you, baby. What you trying to do? Trying to love me, baby. Want some of me too. Bring it on home. Bring it on home. But you see my print, right? No need to predict. As far as predictions, I predicted Nike was going to go down today because they got upgraded. I won, right? You don't need to be right 2 weeks in advance. Plus, again, we were talking about this for the last couple of weeks. You don't want to buy March 20th puts 3 weeks in advance. You're going to get a better price closer to when we get to March 20th. So all this chop, if you went out and bought, let's say a March 20th 570 put, or actually it was the 580s we were looking at. So March 20th. I'm thinking 580 because that was the cheapest one to still participate in the crash if I do get to and again, I was only looking for 565. So I was looking at 580s, right? 580s now. I mean, unless you bought them a month ago. Well, let's see. We started talking. They were $10. Then they went to 2. Right. So if you want, even though we had a mini crash, they went from 3 to 10 already. Now they're still back to 2. And if the market goes nowhere for the next couple of days, these will be at $1.50. And then on March 17th, obviously, if the market's still stable, these will be worth 20 cents, which I might buy them as my lotto play in case I am right. But you don't want to be buying them 3 weeks in advance because you were just in chop mode and they'll disintegrate. But now that the market has rallied, instead of looking at 580s, we could be looking at the 600s for March 20th. So if we stay stable, wait a minute, these are not showing me the right price. Oh, well, here they're all right. They're $7 now, right? So right now, these are just what we're talking about 9 days away. Do you want to buy a put 13 points away? And when I say 13, you got to remember these are 600s for $7. You got the Qs are still at 606 and you're paying 7. You need a 13-point move to break even. Why would you do that? I'm not saying it can't work, but if we stay in chop mode tomorrow, these are what? These are 550. We chop one more day on Thursday. Next thing you know, these are 5. And then here comes Friday. And again, I would not be going long over any weekend. I'd rather still be short over the weekends in the environment that we're in. But let's say we don't have any disasters over the weekend. Qs open up at, let's say we're still in a downtrend. Now the Qs are 602, and these 600s for Friday are going to be down to $4. That's why buying options ahead of schedule, you still, even if you're right, you still don't make any money. So that's why I just love this intraday action lately, because you're getting so much opportunity, low risk trades for medium and large rewards. Why speculate too far away when you're back into the guessing mode? You want to speculate on Oracle finding some profit taking, and your speculation gets validated and you make some money. Every analyst is a corrupt shill for a hedge fund. Your speculation gets validated by VWAP and you crush it. That's the way to become a good trader, right? Keep your thoughts to yourself until the market says, hey, you got yourself a good idea here. Go do it. And that's my 2 cents. And that's been keeping me in this market for the last decade. You stacking silver. Nice. Ooh, here's another good one. Oh, did I kill the room? You guys hear me or not? Because I just did a dissertation on price action. All right. Hey, but you see this Nike? I left $1,000 on the table because I didn't. It was 2 revisits, and each one of those would have been at least a $500 trade for me. You know, but now I really can't get short down here. I'd rather not short it. If I was short, I'd still be short with the 56.25 area as a stop. Right? So if I'm going to short it again, it's going to have to go to my price, which is up here, and get rejected at VWAP, and possibly I could play a roll. Right? But my favorite choice to me making it 12.18 in the middle of the day on a Wednesday when we've had plenty of trades go my way and we've already made money is to quit and go put on some music, because I got another one on cue right here that I love this song. You guys remember this one? So heed my advice. We have a winning day here. Quitting while you're ahead is not really quitting. And we'll come back later. Or you'll be crying like Jamie. Or sorry, Janie's crying. That's the other guy. This is Jamie. Janie's crying was Aerosmith, which is another great song. Ooh. All right, that's my time. All right, don't blow a good day. It's pretty good. Very happy Nike short worked. Wish I'd still be short. Oracle, lovely trading. AVAV, not bad. And by the way, it, you know, again, when that thing showed up as a new long, right? They just faux showed it again. So they're trying to get people out, and it's not really dying. So you see what just happened right here. It finally broke that spot, and they still, it's every shorter, you're a faux show bro away from having to cover. So, all right, be careful out there, folks. And if you're driving, don't drink. If you're drinking, don't drive. A lot of exciting things happening here with the Hit the Bid family. Like I told you the last couple of days, the emergency broadcasting network of Hit the Bid's coming. So email, video alerts with text messaging, rangefinder updates throughout the day, updates on, you know, the website. We'll have a little bit more educational videos put on the website this year. So a lot of good stuff. And hopefully I'll see you as a yearly member with your VWAP tattoo when we possibly go to Vegas. No, not Vegas this time. We're going to the Nashville. Yeah, hang on, wait. Somebody's asking about Nashville. This is not my trip. This is JC put together a trip. They're going May 19th to the 22nd. Yeah, I probably can't make that trip, but who knows? If you haven't been to Nashville, it's more fun than Vegas. It really is. I love Nashville. All right, be safe, people. Don't blow a good day. There's always tomorrow. I'll see you in cyberspace.